Burnley are going to win the league, and here's why. Welcome back to another EFL Roundup. It's been a couple weeks since the last one, so it's time for a roundup before the roundup, where I round up the fixtures since the last roundup, but before this roundup, which haven't featured in a roundup yet. So to round up that last sentence, time for a roundup. Going into this weekend's fixtures, the top of the Championship looked like this. Sheffield United was still top of the league, although we're level on points with both Norwich and QPR. Focusing a little bit on QPR, the Hoops have seen a huge turnaround in form this season, having had the second worst form in the Championship at the end of last season, winning just 4 of their final 15 games. Following this poor form, QPR replaced Mark Warburton with Michael Beale, who'd been Steven Gerrard's assistant at both Rangers and Aston Villa. Another huge contributor to QPR's good start has been Ilias Chair. He's already matched his tally for assists from last campaign with 5 in 14 games. A little further down the league, and Sunderland's form had dropped off, winning none of their previous 4 games. They had a tough game to look forward to as well, facing Wigan, who'd been promoted with Sunderland last season, winning the League One title. Rotherham found themselves in 18th as the lowest place of the newly promoted sides, with manager Paul Warne having left to join Derby just a few games into the season. Rotherham hadn't won a game since Warne left, although would be looking forward to their game against struggling Huddersfield, who was second bottom of the league going into this weekend's fixtures. Now I'll put a screenshot of all the Championship results on screen now, where there's a few very key results, especially at the top of the table. Burnley are now top of the league and have lost just once this entire season, although have actually drawn more games than they've won. The Championship. I'm not going to go into too much detail about Burnley, because I feel like their transition from pure Brexit ball to some actually watchable football has been heavily covered on social media. What I will do though is focus on one man, Josh Brownhill. Brownhill never really impressed me too much in the Prem. He looked a good player but nothing more to someone like myself who wasn't watching Burnley every week. This season though, he's been on fire. 8 goal contributions in 14 games paint some of the picture, and Brownhill has actually outperformed his XG by 2.47 this season. Obviously stats don't mean anything if they're not matched by actual on-pitch performances, and by putting him further up the pitch I think Company has started to bring the best out of him. Having him closer to the defenders allows him to intercept the ball more often, whilst having players like Jay Rodriguez doing the pressing, as they're more dangerous after immediately winning the ball. At this point I do understand I've both over-analysed Burnley, if we're talking about a simple roundup video, whilst also under-analysing if this was meant to be an actual analytical video. What I'm trying to say is, Brownhill equals good, Company equals smart. Further down the league, and Stoke have started to find form. Potter's midfielder Lewis Baker has been key to this form, making 5 goal contributions in the 7 games he's played since Alex Neil joined the club. Baker joined Stoke in January after spending 17 years and over 65% of his life as a Chelsea player. A relatively dynamic player and able to play both deep in midfield, but at his best in a more free role, Baker has finally found his club and looks like he'll really kick on over the next year or so. Comment down below where you think Stoke will finish and who you think we should check out in the next video. Progressing on to League One, Plymouth were top of the league with Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday and Peterborough chasing them. Portsmouth had been in the top 2 for pretty much the whole season, but a mix of dropping a few points and also having not played in a few weeks meant they dropped down to 5th, but of course they did have a couple games in hand. Annoyingly, Portsmouth game against Charlton is being played yesterday for you guys.
Just going to cut in here, it was not played yesterday for you guys, it was actually 2 days ago. I did think I was getting this video out on Tuesday, but I didn't. There's also a lot of games that happen on Tuesday which won't be in this EFL Roundup. I made the decision to leave them out instead of re-recording the whole thing, and they'll just be in the next one. So I hope that's fine. Back to the video.
But it means I won't be able to go over the result of that game in this video. So I'll put the score on screen now, and the League One table following that now. Before I get onto the results, I just wanted to talk about Wycombe. You're going into the weekend and won just 1 from 5 and were placed 17th in the table, having made the playoff final last season. In the summer, Wycombe saw a couple notable departures, including starting goalkeeper David Stockdale, who left for fellow League One side Sheffield Wednesday. But of course, they also lost cult hero Adebayo Akinfenwa, who'd been at the club for 6 years. Akinfenwa hadn't scored over 5 goals in his final 2 campaigns, but he obviously would have brought a lot to the Wycombe dressing room, and so it's understandable to see a bit of a shaky start to the season. Now similarly to the Championship, I'll put a screenshot of all the League One results on screen now. Obviously like I mentioned, I don't know where Portsmouth will be, but no matter what they'll be no higher than 4th. And given I've already spoke about the top 3 League One teams in these EFL roundups, I thought I'd look at Bolton, who are just outside of the playoffs due to goals scored. Funnily enough, Bolton drew to 6th place Barnsley this Saturday, which meant they were unable to leapfrog them in the table. But what the result did do was stop a run of back-to-back defeats. Remarkably, Bolton don't have a single player to have scored more than 2 goals in the league this season, with Connor Bradley being their standout contributor with 2 goals and 2 assists. Bradley's on loan from Liverpool this season and looks to be one of the brightest stars within Northern Irish football. Playing as a wing-back in Bolton's system, Bradley has been given the opportunity to get himself up and down the pitch, and don't be surprised if you see more goal contributions from him this season. Heading south, Bristol Rovers have hit some good form, winning their last 4 games in a row, which is a bit of a shame given they've got Joe Barton as their manager. Another reason why I brought Bristol Rovers up is to link to the relegation battle, as Rovers beat Cheltenham 4-1 on the weekend, which leaves the Robins just 2 points above the drop, although they do have a game in hand on Forest Green in 21st. MK Dons, who also lost to Bristol Rovers just a couple weeks ago, have continued to be a complete failure, as they find themselves in 22nd, having come 3rd last year. MK have won just once in the last 8 games against League One opposition, and look to be in real trouble unless they can fix things and fast. 38-year-old Dean Lewington is in his 21st season at the club. Well, actually 19 because of the whole incident in 2004, in which he's been relegated 3 times. Could he make that 4 in what may be his final season? Now that's enough on League 1, it's time for League 2. Last time I made a video I was talking about how Leyton Orient are going to win the league, and that we're the best team in England. Since then, we've not won a game. This weekend, Orient were playing Northampton, who'd be without star man Sam Hoskins, who missed the top of the table clash through injury. Spoiler alert, Orient didn't win. The game ended 0-0, and to be honest there wasn't really any big chances. What that did was open the door for Stevenage to go 4 points clear at the top of the table, although Orient do still have a game in hand. Stevenage have won their last 5 games in a row, and came up against the Gillingham side struggling in League 2. Stevenage drew 1-1, meaning with the table looking like this going into the weekend, none of the top 3 had actually won their games. What this did was allow Salford, who nobody likes, to pull themselves into the automatics. All they needed to do was win their game against Bradford, who'd won 1 in their last 4. An easy job surely. All of this bottling from the teams at the top allowed Mansfield up into 4th, who are actually looking really good, for the first time since 2018-19, where they bowled automatic promotion on the final day, which led to this brilliant video being made.
Congratulations, well done! Send in you! You lot attacked an old man! Disgusting!
Mansfield have the highest XG in the league with 19, nearly 3 higher than their next closest Grimsby. And as much as I hate their XG stat and think it's near meaningless, particularly in the lower leagues, I did need something to fill a few seconds multiple times across this video, so enjoy that stat bomb. Further down the league, Barrow have completely imploded since losing to Leyton Orient a few weeks ago, and had lost 4 games on the bounce going into their fixture against Rochdale, who'd won just twice in the league this season. Of course, in true League 2 fashion, Rochdale won, meaning Barrow are now 11th, having been 2nd just a few weeks ago. Rochdale have finally managed to hit some form, winning 4 of their last 5, including 1 game against the Liverpool under-23s, as I mentioned a few weeks ago. After a slow start, it looks like the Dale may be pulling themselves out of the relegation battle, with all 3 of the teams below being tied on 9 points. As much as I'd love to end the video here, I need to make sure this video is long enough for mid-roll ads or my boss will kill me. So I'm going to do a little quiz. First question, why do no women love me? Sorry about that guys, think there's a little audio glitch there. No worries though, because this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Also, comment any video ideas that you've wanted to do yourself so that I can do them and steal all the credit, whilst also getting paid. That was just a joke, of course. Thanks for watching. I've been Eric, this has been HITC Football, and enjoy your day.